The bar lies ahead of me. The space beyond the clouded glass windows, dark and uninviting. Something in my gut tugs at my memory as I approach it. I step off the sidewalk and into the road, and as I do, my foot leans further forward than I intended. As I enter the street, I stop and turn around, seeing the deep and filthy puddle I'd not noticed yet instinctively stepped over. How many times had I taken this path before? 3 months. I lived here for 3 months, and neither brick nor mortar, branch nor building spoke to me with familiarity. All I have found for my life from the past 3 months is a puddle and a slightest touch of muscle memory. A car hoots at me. It strikes a sensory blow to my head. It rips me from my thoughts, and I jump back. It grumbles past and down the road, spilling out dark fumes from its exhaust. Rust coats the car's exterior, and rough paintings coat the rust. A hand exits the driver's side window and flips me off. Strange. The cars in the upper city near the Shale Future Foundation were clean and pristine. More notably, they didn't have drivers.
Oh, I am their drivers,
Fidget declares with pride.
I am driving so many cars all at once, right at this very moment. Before there was a Fidget, you squishy humans just drove around yourself all the time. My records indicate that you made quite a mess of things and kept crashing into each other like it was some kind of game. But Fidget, that's me. Hey, does not crash.
I cock my brow and gesture to the car as it vanishes around the corner. That one has a driver.
Yes,
Fidget says.
He is a member of the Analogue movement.
The Analogue movement, I parrot. Not a fan of the progress of technology, I assume. Fidget hums to herself.
No, not fans. And they don't like me either. They don't like the HoloNet or the Mind Waver, and have therefore disconnected themselves.
But, from what I can tell, I pause between words, trying to arrange my thoughts. Everything in harmony runs on the HoloNet.
Almost everything.
Fidget sings.
The Analogue movement have slowly been building up more and more of a presence, sustaining themselves and their communities without the HoloNet.
And how prevalent are they?
Some districts just have the analogues hanging around. Sometimes they own businesses and so on. Obviously, there are none of the districts controlled by the Silverstone Realtors Agency or any of the other mega corporations in Harmony Valley. And there are some districts who are exclusively controlled by the Analogue movement. So they don't have any Fidget. Boo, if I may say so myself.
I chew on those words, vaulting that information in my mind for later. For now, I return my focus to the bar, walking towards it. The moment I reach the sidewalk, skipping back into the oceanic crowd, a figure bumps into me. Instinct takes over once more as my hand darts out and grips him behind the arm. I turn to face him and see the surprise marking his terrified face. In his hand rests a small bundle of notes I'd stuffed into my pocket before leaving. I snatch back the money and release him. He rushes off into the crowd, and I stride toward the bar entrance with the purpose of 1,000 walks before me. I've been here before. It's the certainty of my steps. No memory comes back to my mind, but familiarity saturates my muscles, and it carries me into the bar. As I do, the air itself seems to change. It's suddenly hot and thick, and I can taste something foul on the tip of my tongue. Barely a soul occupies the space nearby, and yet something unseen and non-existent presses against me from all sides. The floorboards are wood, covered in mold. The walls are bare brick, covered in cracks, and poor plaster jobs. There aren't enough chairs for each table, and glass is being swept up by a young girl in the corner. She's dancing to something, though I hear no music. A strange image. A rectangle slides into the top left corner of my vision, and a string of text appears next to it. Entering public broadcast zone. Do you accept? Fidget, I begin. Care to explain?
Which part exactly? As I said before, I can control all sorts of things that you see, so I like to put a little text notification in your vision, so you don't get interrupted when you're doing stuff or having deep thoughts, because, sometimes people don't want to have me screaming in their brains.
Like you did when I arrived, when you highlighted the building so I'd know which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I asked you not to do again.
Yes?
I sigh. And the public broadcast zone? What does that mean?
Ah, yes. Places like bars or social gathering places used to have music playing loud to each other on speaker systems, like the one Madame Shell has in her office, you might remember. And the Analogue movement all have their own speaker systems like that, of course. In fact, that's where people usually buy them. But most places these days just have their own holonet broadcast that people can link up to, and everyone who connected to the public broadcast zone network will hear everything that the other people hear that connects to it. So, it's like a giant party in your brain.
Efficient. All right, Fidget, connect me. There's a slight quiet pop, and quite suddenly, there's a song playing in my head. It's quiet and calm. The girl cleaning, who still has her back to me, is dancing in time with it. She's young, and her spiky hair is the same shade of green as my own.
Guess what time it is?
Fidget announces. The girl straightens her back. I think she's hearing Fidget over the network, just as I am.
That's right, it's time for fun. For fun adverts, we return once again to Mr. Silverstone.
The song is cut off abruptly by the sound of,
Hello, Harmony City. My name is Michael Silverstone.
Fidget, turn off the PBZ, the girl says, interrupting Silverstone's monologue. Fidget says nothing, but a soft beep brings silence to my ears, returning the ambiance of the world and the crowd stomping through the streets outside. One day, the girl says, seemingly to herself, or perhaps to Fidget, we can get that premium service that has less ads.
Ooh, holonet access? I'm sure you're gonna love it.
Fidget says, confirming the latter of my assumptions.
Oh, by the way,
Fidget says,
have you met my new friend Aria?
The girl's head shoots up, her shoulders tense, and she spins on the balls of her feet to stare at me with wild eyes. Aria? She says, voice shuddering. In that one word she laces confusion with fear and excitement and joy, and before I can consider anything more, she's flung herself halfway across the room and wrapped her arms around me. She nearly knocks me off my balance as she grips me in the first embrace of my new life. Aria! She cries again. Fidget, why didn't you tell me?
Well, you looked so busy with your dancing, and I didn't want to interrupt you,
Fidget says in a sing-song voice. Aria, where have you been? The girl demands, tears streaming down her face. We haven't heard from you in days. Scarlet told me you'd lost your mind. She said you were trying to kill yourself. Scarlet is going to be so furious with you. I'm so happy you're okay. I can only stand there, unsteady, my balance shifting to the edge of what limited control I have over it, and a strange, uncertain sensation arising in my heart as this young, earnest child holds me and cries. She stares up at me, waiting for my response, eager and terrified and exhilarated and,
Aria?
Fidget says,
Don't worry. I'm just speaking in your head. You're getting lost in analyzing. You should probably answer little Samantha's question.
Right, Aria, focus. I open my mouth to speak, to try to explain the situation, but something in my face, something in my eye gives me away. Because the girl, Samantha, lets me go and takes a few steps back. You're not Aria. Not really, are you? How do I even answer that question? I'm a clone, I finally say. The girl takes a moment. She wipes away her tears and forces a smile. That's all right, she says. So you're not Aria, yet. Unless... How much do you remember? I shake my head. Essentially nothing. They only pulled me out of the tank yesterday. Yesterday? She says, lip quivering. You're a fresh one, then. That's okay. That's all right. Scarlett's still gonna be pissed with you, though. Last time you were here, you did a hell of a number on the place. Stole our cheapest booze, tore up the tables, just bullets in the walls, and kissed her one last goodbye. She said you left her with the taste of our cheapest bourbon hanging on her lips and a boiling rage in her heart. Well, apparently the other thing I left was an impression. I have some questions, Samantha, if you don't mind. Samantha nods and strides over the bar, gesturing at one of the chairs. As I sit on it, it wobbles. It seems like all four legs are a different length. I set my walking stick on the countertop. You must be so confused right now, Samantha says. Oh, poor thing. But I've got all the answers. You've got friends here, real ones, not like the liars at the Shale Future Foundation. Liars? I ask. Samantha nods. That Madam Shale, she's no good. You said so yourself. Told us all. That's why you've been living here, in the apartment above the bar. She pauses, screwing up her face before slapping her palm to her forehead. Oh, that's another thing Scarlett's gonna be mad about. Oh, God, it's been so long since you actually paid the rent. She's definitely gonna be on your case about that. As it currently stands, all Samantha is really doing is mounting and piling the questions on my head. You gotta be real hungry, Samantha finally says. Let me go in the back and fix you something to eat really quick. I'll just stick it on your tab. Oh, it's so good to have you back, Aria. Wait, I say, holding my hand up to stop her as she reaches the door to what I assume are the kitchens. You don't seem that broken up about this. About Aria dying. Samantha smiles. You're not dead, silly. You're sitting right there in front of me. With that, she's gone, through the door. The last 24 hours of madness is buried in the breath I release slowly from my lips. As I close my eyes and press my forehead to the table, Fidget says something, but I ignore her, pushing her voice to the back of my mind. There's a sound from behind me. Probably just a new customer. I pay little heed to the bar's newest occupant, only raising my head up and yawning. Why am I so tired suddenly? The day's only just started, and everything feels... Before I can think of the right word, a firm hand grips the back of my head and, with a single brute motion, smashes my face against the countertop, breaking my nose.